army to be deployed on Sunday to help enforce movement order. Public reminded to be transparent in revealing travel history.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear fellow Malaysians, please abide by the movement control order imposed by my government. Don't leave home if there are no pressing matters. Don't balik kampung unless if it's an emergency. This movement control order is imposed to ensure the safety and the well-being of every Malaysian, as we are now facing a serious threat from the outbreak of COVID-19 virus infection. It is a deadly virus. Do not gather or attend any social activities outside your home. My government has guaranteed sufficient stocks and supplies of all essential items throughout these 2-week restrictions, so there is no need for panic buying. I call upon every Malaysian to be responsible and not spread fake news and cause unnecessary panic among us. Please observe your personal hygiene, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer and face masks, stay safe and practice social distancing, and drink lots of water. We will get through this together as Malaysian, as one country. This is the time for us to be strong and persevere. It is better for all of us to be safe than sorry. Inshallah, we shall prevail.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to News On 2. Now, the government has decided to deploy the army to assist police in monitoring the COVID-19 situation during the movement control order period. Senior Minister Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this order becomes effective beginning Sunday.
Mesyuarat hari ini memutuskan supaya pihak tentera membantu pihak polis di dalam memantau keadaan yang berlaku hari ini, terutamanya untuk memastikan pematuhan rakyat kepada arahan supaya rakyat berada di dalam rumah masing-masing. Tentera akan mula digerakkan pada hari Ahad ini. Jadi kita yakin dengan bantuan daripada pihak tentera, kawalan lebih lagi boleh dapat dilaksanakan, dan kita berharap rakyat akan terus patuh kepada arahan yang dikeluarkan oleh kerajaan.
Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, who is also Defence Minister, said the military was being mobilised by virtue of Section 5 of the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988, which enables the Health Minister to authorise any agency to implement a relevant order. Although the people have begun to adhere to the movement control order, there were still those who refused to do so. However, he stressed that the government had no intention to declare a state of emergency. Well, meanwhile, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said Malaysians working in Singapore can continue to work and stay in the Republic throughout the movement control order period. Now, following a discussion held yesterday, he said the Singapore government had agreed to provide temporary accommodation for all Malaysians working there.
Semua pekerja-pekerja kita di Singapura akan meneruskan pekerjaan masing-masing, dan pihak kerajaan Singapura bersetuju untuk mewujudkan tempat tinggal mereka di Singapura selama 2 minggu. Jadi mereka akan ke Singapura, akan tinggal di tempat tinggal yang disediakan, dan apabila balik ke Malaysia, pihak Singapura akan membuat saringan bagi memastikan dari segi tahap kesihatan mereka. Jadi itu antara yang dibincangkan dan dipersetujui oleh Singapura dengan Malaysia.
Besides that, Malaysia has also given its assurance to facilitate smooth transportation of food across land checkpoints between Malaysia and Singapore throughout this order, the cost of which will be borne by Singapore. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri added that two committees were formed following the discussion, a joint committee involving himself and his counterpart in Singapore, and a working committee between Secretaries General from several ministries in Malaysia and Singapore.
Bila berada di rumah bagi
In another development, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said Malaysians who will be flown home on special mission flights on 22nd and 23rd March respectively would be quarantined for 14 days.
membantu pihak polis. Saya juga ingin maklumkan bahawa rakyat kita yang berada di Itali dan Iran akan pulang, iaitu mereka daripada Iran akan pulang kepada 22 hari bulan Mac seramai 55 orang, daripada Itali seramai 23 orang, seramai 94 orang pada 23 hari bulan Mac nanti. Dan semua yang pulang ini akan melalui kuarantin selama 14 hari kerana mereka datang daripada negara yang mempunyai risiko yang amat tinggi. Itali mempunyai penyakit yang positif begitu ramai dan meninggal pun dah 3,000 lebih. Begitu juga dengan Iran.
According to Wisma Putra, some 841 Malaysians are stranded in 20 countries worldwide due to travel restrictions following the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, Armed Forces Chief General Tan Sri Effendi Buang stressed that the Army will continue all its military operations in its duties to ensure the safety and sovereignty of the nation, despite the current COVID-19 threat. Well, he said as the country's main line of defense, the Armed Force would give priority to national sovereignty no matter what the circumstances.
Semua operasi dalam menjaga keselamatan dan kedaulatan negara tetap dilaksanakan agar ia kekal terpelihara. Sebarang aktiviti latihan akan ditangguhkan. Saya telah mengarahkan setiap perkhidmatan untuk memperincikan perkara-perkara berkaitan aspek operasi, latihan dan khusus, eksersis, pentadbiran serta logistik.
In a special message to all armed forces officers and personnel, the Army Chief said the reminder was to ensure that their duties as the defenders of the nation do not come in the way of the order to assist the police in managing the movement control order. He also reminded officers and personnel of all three wings of the armed forces to adhere to the movement restriction order. Well, as the country entered its third day of the movement control order, members of the public continue to be reminded of the need to adhere to the order to ensure it reaches its objective of containing the COVID-19 virus. Now, it is hoped that many more will obey the order to stay at home after it was reported that only 60% had adhered to the ruling on the first day on Wednesday. Now, enforcement authorities, especially the police force, have been conducting patrols and roadblocks and giving advice and information to the public since the first night of the order. However, awareness on the movement order still needs to be increased, as there were still some who couldn't care less about the well-being of other people. Earlier today, Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced that the government had decided to deploy the army to assist the police in monitoring the situation effective this Sunday. Well, meeting up with friends, picking up spouses and visiting family members. Now, those were among the reasons given by motorists when stopped at roadblocks mounted by Pulau Pinang Police on the first 2 days of the movement control order. Police noted that instead of staying at home, motorists are treating this period like a holiday. Timor Laut District Chief ACP Sofian Santong, when met during an operation last night, said the roadblocks were mounted to monitor the public's movement.
Sekarang ini kita lihat pun pada sekarang ini jam saya 9.40 malam, dan seperti kita nampak di belakang tu masih lagi banyak kereta berduyun-duyun melalui jalan ini, yang mana sepatutnya perkara ini tidak berlaku. Oleh demikian, saya menasihatkanlah kepada masyarakat di daerah Timur Laut ini supaya beradalah di rumah, duduk di rumah pada waktu-waktu seperti ini bersama keluarga, dan kurangkan pergerakan untuk berjalan-jalan dan seumpamanya.
He added such operations were mainly conducted to give advice to the public and remind them about the MCO. On the first day of the MCO, local authorities such as the Pulau Pinang City Council conducted a special operation to check whether entertainment outlets all over the state were adhering to the ruling. A total of 34 entertainment outlets were checked during the operation, of which all of them complied with the order to close their outlets during the 2-week MCO. Johor Police have denied issuing directives on the movement control order instructing restaurants, petrol stations and convenience stores in the state to close between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. Now, the fake report, which earlier went viral on social media, was allegedly attributed to Dato' Ayub Khan Maidin Pichai in his capacity as the state's police chief. Well, in a statement today, Dato' Ayub Khan said the announcement was fake and it was not issued by him. Well, he also warned the public against misusing social media platforms for spreading any fake news or untrue information to the masses. Now, the police, he said, would not hesitate in taking action against any irresponsible parties found to be spreading fake news under Section 505, subsection B of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. Well, he urged members of the public to verify the information before commenting or forwarding any message to others. Well, police arrested a man in Segamat, Johor yesterday for refusing to abide by the movement control order. Now, the arrest was made after the man used abusive language and acted aggressively against policemen who tried to disperse a group of people loitering around the area. Now, Segamat Police Chief Superintendent Raub Selamat in a statement said, in the incident, a team of policemen were patrolling the area when they came across 8 men who had gathered there without a purpose. Well, the police personnel then asked them to provide their identifications for inspection. 7 of them cooperated, while the 27-year-old suspect refused to do so. He then acted aggressively by hitting the policeman. He was subsequently arrested and remanded for 3 days until tomorrow under Sections 186 and 509 of the Penal Code. Well, a total of 15 healthcare workers have been infected by the COVID-19 as of today. The Health Director General, Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, said of the number, 12 are Health Ministry staff and 3 from the private healthcare sector. In his official Facebook, Dr. Nur Hisham wrote, one of 12 ministry staff is currently in intensive care unit, the ICU, on ventilator support. He also reminded the public that the virus knows no boundaries regardless of race, religion or wealth status, even more so if a person is a healthcare worker at the front line of the war against COVID-19. Well, meanwhile, Dr. Nur Hisham also urged members of the public, especially patients, to be truthful when giving information on their history and close contacts with regards to the COVID-19 health screening and tracing. Now, the Health Director General appealed to the people not to hide information, as this could pose a risk to lives and compromise health facilities. Now, in his official Facebook posting today, Dr. Nur Hisham revealed that they had a few incidents this week where patients concealed their symptoms, travel history and close contact information. And he gave the example of how information of those linked to the Tabligh gathering at Masjid Jamik in Seri Petaling was also not being revealed. He added that only after clinical procedures and treatment were completed that such critical information was disclosed, in which had jeopardized the safety of healthcare workers and facilities. He reminded the public that it is a crime not to reveal information to the authorities amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, there have been no reports of any death due to COVID-19 in Malacca, as viral in the social media yesterday. Now, where it was alleged that an imam at Masjid Bukit Larang had succumbed to the virus. Now, this was confirmed by State Exco Rahman Mariman.
Okey, WhatsApp ni sebenarnya tuan-tuan atau orang ramai boleh baca, tapi jangan ambil indah dan jangan ambil itu sebagai satu maklumat lah. Ikut saja maklumat, ikut saluran yang betul daripada Kementerian Kesihatan sendiri. Setakat ni memang tidak ada. Saya pun dah menyeru dekat Radio Malaysia pagi semalam supaya jangan mempercayai viral ni kan. Sebab apa, berkemungkinan lah pasal orang semua dalam keadaan duduk di rumah ni, jadi masing-masing mungkin kurang orang kata tak ada banyak kerja, jadi dia buat WhatsApp yang bukan-bukan kan. Jadi saya suruh janganlah sebarkan benda-benda yang macam ni kan. Ini akan menyebabkan rakyat menjadi panik kan, keliru.
Rahmat said this to the media after undergoing a health screening session for Malacca State Excos this morning. News on 2 continues. Now, the government now permits the import of face masks to meet a shortage in the domestic market as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Dato' Alexander Nantalingi said the permission to allow imports came into force yesterday after the ceiling price of the mask was raised from 80 sen to 2 ringgit per piece.
On the 18 of March.
Met after a meeting with 12 retail industry players at the ministry in Putrajaya, Dato' Alexander said if the ministry is to maintain the 80 cent ceiling price, the entrepreneurs and manufacturers will be unable to produce the mask.
Kalau kita naikkan sekarang kepada RM2, yang diharapkan ini akan menggalakkan import, bawa masuk ke negara kita. Jadi ini kita lihat sebagai satu langkah untuk menangani masalah kekurangan ataupun shortage face mask, ya. Dan berapa hari sudah larangan ekspor face mask pun sudah dikuatkuasakan. Ya, tak boleh diekspor supaya supply ataupun bekalan untuk kegunaan di negara kita ini kita boleh pertingkatkan volumenya. Pihak yang mewakilkan
Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB has suspended its supply disconnection, meter reading and Kedai Tenaga operations nationwide throughout the movement control order period. Now, TNB Chief Corporate Officer Dato' Wira Roslan Abdul Rahman said the move is made to safeguard the interests of the public and employees involved. Well, in a statement today, Dato' Wira Roslan added that the company's technical employees will be working to ensure continuous service and supply, adding it will include technical staff in the grid and electrical division, connection and restoration works, as well as other critical operations that are operating, such as customer service, security and power control facilities. Now, in the event of an electrical supply outage, consumers may contact TNB Careline at 15454 or through TNB Careline's Facebook page. Well, customers are also advised to use online transaction facilities for any transactions such as My TNB portal and TNB applications. The Terengganu State Government will provide 6 million ringgit to help those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Menteri Besar Dato' Sri Dr. Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar said the state government will determine the type of assistance or incentive to be given to target groups in various categories soon. Now, in a statement posted in his official Facebook today, Dato' Sri Dr. Ahmad Samsuri said an announcement will be made after all related issues had been worked out and hope that all parties remain patient and cooperative. The State Executive Council, MMKN, yesterday decided to conduct a comprehensive review and evaluation of the effects of COVID-19 on certain target groups in various categories in Terengganu. Well, coming up, Philippines brewery makes sanitizers instead of beer to fight virus. That and more coming up. Well, that concludes this evening's News on 2. Now, top story, Army to be deployed on Sunday to help enforce movement order. Now, don't forget to wash your hands regularly, practice social distancing, and most of all, let's adhere to the movement control order and just stay at home. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening. You take care.